Greetings from Oakland, California, in the United States of America. We are blessed today, this sunny, gorgeous, early morning on the West Coast, to be surrounded by not just artists, but activists. So here in Oakland, we call those folks artists, of which I am one. I am Ken Folks with Spectrum Queer Media, and I thank Sasha for putting this together so that around the nation we can do more than bellyache. We can do more than be sick and tired of being sick and tired. We can actually do something productive and tangible. We can make ourselves seen and heard. And some of our best voices are in this space, folks who have practiced and been very thoughtful and intentional in terms of their craft and their gift. It's more than just pretty words. These folks understand that this is medicine. These are tools, and we can use them as strategies to continue to evolve and make change happen. This is also a fundraiser for the good folks in Ferguson who were beat down, mistreated, disrespected, and more or less hustled off into jail cells. And we need to make sure that the legal defense team is funded well so that that nonsense ends, because it doesn't make sense for them to be in prison and for a murderer to be out on the streets getting paid to do so. So what we're going to do right now is bless the space with Blackberry. Blackberry is an elder, not just in this community, but is an internationally well-known musician, composer, poet. Blackberry is also a national treasure, which is befitting because we are talking about a national issue. Blackberry's music is in our Smithsonian. So thank you, Blackberry. We're honored. The ancestors give thanks for you being present today. Ashe. Ashe.
You see, we're sisters and brothers, supporting one another. We heard the call for struggle, and we've come to fight and win.
Ashe.
We want to that's free from segregation of all kinds. We want to make the earth a better place to live again. We are women, children, men. We are lovers, we are friends. And there's some of us who choose to live alone. We've been tormented and slain. We had cops beat out our brain. But through the suffering, we've gained some strength and grown. And so we've all come together for one reason. Yes, we've all come together here today. Hey, yes, we've all come together 'cause we found that we could never fight for the things we want together all alone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Blackberry. We know that this is a fundraiser, so it's very important for people who are watching right now throughout the United States and beyond to make certain to write this down. Hashtag Poets for Ferguson. Any of your tweets, any of your shares, please make certain that you attach the hashtag so that we can create a huge groundswell so folks can see that this is an issue. This is definitely an issue that we are addressing. As more artivists walk in, this is lovely. I would like to also encourage people to go directly to the Tumblr site, and that would be Poets for Ferguson, and then I think it's Tumblr. That's it? Okay, excellent. So I would like to bring up one of our co-hosts, Audacious I Am. Yes, Audacious has been active, very clear-minded about the importance of being vocal, being vocal. And so the first time that I heard you, you were with your mates, I see you wearing it, Just Press Play, the Press Play poets who were well known not only in the Bay Area, but definitely beyond. And your brand of social justice comes through your words. So would you mind kicking it off and then continuing to co-host with us?
All right.
Thank you.
All right. There is no longer a hunt in America. There is a war in America. Being black and boy in America will get you Emmett Till'd in America. Get you lynched up on metal and still in America. Black boys must run in America. Are not safe in America. Are not welcomed in America. Being black and boy will get you rushed to your death by soldiers for cops on black blocks seeking to abolish black bodies in America. This is not a one-man army. This is a culture. See, black boys get slayed in America. Black boys be Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis in America. Black boys be Dante Price and Johnny Warren in America. Black boys be Oscar Grant and Mike Brown in America. So when are you going to stand your ground in America? Because black boys are becoming extinct in America. I wonder what would happen if every time they kill a black boy, would kill 2 cops, 2 white boys, or just burn the American flag. Because our black boys, they deserve to grow. All right, we're going to keep this thing going. We're going to open it up with our first poet on the list, our first featured poet. Corey, poet here in Oakland, California. He is an amazing artist. He has opened up for various amount of artists throughout the U.S. actually, and he runs an open mic, lyrical luncheon right here at Imagine Affairs in Oakland, California. Y'all give it up for Corey.
A conversation with my 12-year-old son. He asked me, "Daddy, is it Ferguson or is it Ferguson?"
Ferguson.
And I told him it's Ferguson because those police down there seem to always go for guns, son. Hunting, tracking, and killing us like we're animals. Poaching us for our fur, as they use their guns, son. See, and then he said, "Daddy, but I thought that the police were supposed to be the good guys. I thought they were supposed to protect us, reflect for us what justice and safety is supposed to look like." Dad, if someone breaks into our house tonight, what authority do I call? Because I'm truly terrified that if I call the police, they may come and shoot me until I die. See, now this is the time for me to teach my son. So I need to swallow my anger, my hurt, and my pride. So I replied, "Son, what happened to Michael Brown down in Ferguson was 100% wrong. But understand that not all police are bad. But there are some who take advantage of their power and disrespect the badge. See, but when their superiors don't discipline or even suspend or fire them, then their training and their systems are completely broken. See, and the facts are, as it stands, that if you're young and black, if you're big and black, if you're loud and black, or if you just black and black, obviously, there's supposed to be no words spoken back. See, son, to some, it doesn't matter if you're highly educated, spiritually motivated, employed, or even well-spoken. The bottom line is that the system is broken. So this is to Ferguson's everywhere. No more. No more Michael Browns. No more Sean Bells. No more Eric Gardners. No more Emmett Till's, Trayvon Martins, or Oscar Grants. See, I remember back in the day when I once put in my own stake that there was a certain way that they prepared the police to behave in the field. See, back then they taught you how to shoot to wound. Nowadays they teach you how to shoot to kill. See, to Ferguson's all over the world, you really need to be revamped. What's next? Concentration camps. See, because killing and beating unarmed, handcuffed us, just because. See, now, understand, I'm not here to preach to you, but I hope that my words reach to you and allow them to teach to you, because now, whenever a police unjustly beat, harass, or even murder someone, the victim just tells the world, I just got Ferguson.
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Paula Webb, and I'll be co-hosting with you all this afternoon. Oh, what an amazing event. And coming up next to the stage, we want to bring this poet up with lots of love. Give it up for Nasba Tom, a dime poet who's published in 2 anthologies and has another one forthcoming. She's working on her first collection of poetry for Point. Y'all put your hands together for Nasba Tom.
Hello, I wanted to introduce myself in Navajo, or Diné, as we're also known. I'm very honored to be here, to be standing in solidarity with, my relatives out over in Ferguson and also in Oakland here. So yeah, it's actually nas by in she slum but ani fashion look at na she those who eat that she none what out is slum. So we introduce ourselves with our clan system, really just to locate each other as an extension of respect. And so my introduction really is an extension of respect to the people of Ferguson as we stand here and poet and do our activism work on Ohlone land here. A lot of our oppression is interconnected, so really just standing with you all today as we do this. This piece I'm going to read is called Nahkisha. And it's actually a term that's been reintroduced by one of our community members who's also an advocate. She's mixed, African-American Navajo. And our previous term for African-American community members was pretty derogatory word. And so she put forth the use of another term, which was taken from ceremony and reintroduced. And really reminding all of us that we all have sacred names, that we all are sacred. So this piece is called Nahkisha, and it's for my nephews, who are also mixed, African-American, Native, so this is for them. Nahkisha. Obsidian dream. You are the womb of acceptance in spite of harsh sandstone tongues and fatherland in flight. I remember my nephew with a squash blossom baby breath, exclaiming he was Navajo, not Jimmy, and the pride he exuded in declaring his identity. And I wonder if he would have claimed all of his curly sand twister hair, wide blue sky nose, full crow-winged lips, bright jet eyes, hand drum of cheeks, red sheep-hued shoulders, sunset crater lava flesh, pinyon pine thighs, white shell palms, white shell feet, if Nahkisha was known to his complexion. In the valley of historical amnesia, deity song waits for us to reclaim crystal fire children, set into the silver bracelets of our grandmothers, our masana. This umbilical cord must root slave ship, anchored into the hogan, into our homes of resistance, and holds a whole basket. My nephew marked set at Zazi, mountain mahogany root. We wrap cheap red ochre stories into his cradleboard memory. And together we hold this doorway into this world we call glittering world, Lihashwe. This world emerges brown bodies with names we have always known as sacred. Thank you.
that love going. For our next artist, Jovan Cochran.
Yeah.
Detroit born and raised, resident of Oakland, recent graduate of UC Berkeley with a BA in Spanish and Portuguese. Revolutionary, poet, lover, and world traveler. Give it up for Jovan Cochran.
Every 28 hours, a police officer, security guard, or vigilante kills a black man, woman, or child in the U.S. every 28 hours. A Dred Scott decision gets made out of another black life to which we have no right, which whites are bound to respect. So expect someone to lose the last 3/5 of human that they have left, somebody to become the hashtag we are all just one bullet away from, even when we have nothing in our hands, even when we have our hands up, even when we are crying, I can't breathe, even when all the witnesses testify otherwise. They will call the victim the aggressor, the victim the suspect, suspected of something irrelevant, like having too much THC in his system, or a strong-arm robbery of a box of Swishers, always beside the point like a box of Swishers, always a gangbanger, a thug, a criminal record, never a young man bound for college. But beside the point, because bottom line, a human being should still be breathing, never a human being, always an animal, always asking for it, always an accident, always a gun, mistaken for a taser, a toy, mistaken for a gun, a 17-year-old boy who was somebody's son, mistaken for up to no good or on drugs or something, every 28 hours, always, every 28 hours, post-racial America sucker punches an entire community in the face, exposing itself as a punchline of the cruelest joke. Hell, with a hoax like serve and protect. Every 28 hours is the 1st of April. This nation is making a fool of us. All trick, no treats. Every 28 hours is Halloween. Overseers dress up in uniforms, attempts to cover the cover-up, dress up as media coverage, and they cover up MLK's legacy of fight back with this back-and-forth, non-stop notion of unconditional nonviolence. Every 28 hours, they ask us to remain peaceful as Barack Obama remains silent, as he sends a letter to each family of the 4 cops shot in Oakland just 4 months after saying nothing about Oscar Grant, as he issues a statement praising Robin Williams just 3 hours after his death, but stays mum on Mike Brown for 3 days. Every 28 hours makes perfectly clear that unless you look like Lou Gehrig, your life matters a lot less. Peace to anyone with ALS, but every 28 hours, I've been contemplating how many buckets of ice must we dump over our heads to get people to stop raising money for racist murderers, to get people to stop saying this is not about race, even when it happens every 28 hours. If you happen to have had enough and feel like heading to the nearest quick trip to trip quick, just know that I am with you. No, your rage is righteous. No, we can't keep waiting, because every 28 hours a cop cocks his pistol. The clock starts tick-tocking again. We start running out of time. A black man is on his knees, holding his hands in the air, staring him straight in the eyes and daring out to shoot. Peace. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. So much power. Thank you, this microphone. So many impactful words. Coming up next to the stage, we are bringing up Victoria Massey. She is a DNA nerd working on her PhD in anthropology at UC Berkeley. When she's not researching genetic entanglements in the African diaspora, she writes poems to speak truth to power. Y'all put your hands together for Victoria Massey.
So this poem is calling out the media. It's a poem I wrote before Ferguson, but it's a poem that nevertheless still pertains to Ferguson. And it's called Rest is a Privilege. The photo banner hung below the headline, Dayton teen beaten to death had troubled past. Like the reporters wanted to seduce readers into believing Dion Payne's portrait found pleasure placed between his predators. The men who all but left Dion dead at the hospital weren't the only ones with an appetite. The media was keen on fixing a black boy's few mistakes and consent for two grown men to premeditate bringing Dion to his downfall. The text told me Payne was thrown down against his will into the sound of hearing his own Red Sea part out of his body, singing the last hymn he'd hear as a lullaby without the calm of baptism. Water only heals because it can't remember anything, but blood is too viscous to let go of a passing too early into death that this newspaper was thirsty. How else could the writers code someone's sexual assault and murder into a genetic predisposition? I keep studying DNA but can't find a cure to stop America from seeing my body as a call for genocide the world doesn't want to talk about, but is always more than willing to watch on their Facebook feeds. Months before the courtroom, Zimmerman's verdict was read in an article titled Trayvon, Typical Teen or Troublemaker. Why are the dead in black arrested for dying by someone else's hands and convicted by their own corpses for living? When a toxicology report was run on Renisha, why wasn't the same done for her murderer, who took hours to tell authorities he kinda killed somebody with a shotgun to their face through a screen door in the middle of the night instead of sparing a second of compassion to help a woman in distress at his doorstep? When will the media help me fight for my life instead of sensationalizing my death? Pay your respects. Stop treating resting in peace like a right earned when death is the only guarantee every human being is born with. Write about how Dion was utterly adorable. How his smile held the sacred hope of prayer, helping his mother not stop believing in the God that taught her to teach her son to see the good in everyone, even when they're willing to kill him for kids. Right? He was gonna go places in life, like a phrase of truth spoken by loved ones rather than a mistake placed in scared hope so Trayvon's mom could believe in a country where gun violence tragedies are nationally recognized in New England and southern suburbs equally. Right, Ms. McBride, an op-ed that makes Dearborn live up to its own heights by stating property ownership does not justify a not guilty claim after actively abusing a legal system designed to kill people who used to be property when they refused to be property properly post-emancipation. Stop insinuating death and agony need an asterisk for fresh off the press profits. Leave our hands uncuffed and our ankles unchained in the casket. Let our bodies lie down without testifying in text because rest is a privilege denied in this life that we earn in the hereafter. Thank you, Victoria. Our next poet coming up to the mic, let's show him some love. Father, activist, National Slam finalist, and member of the supergroup Fiveology. Let's show some love to Sean Williams.
This is the father's warning shot. Don Illuminati, track 2, first verse from Tupac. A sworn oath that if anything ever happens to my son, if his beautiful face ever gets grazed by bullet or billy club, if he ever sees a situation where gun is mistaken for taser and labeled accident, I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger that you would have thought that God or Samuel L. Jackson just turned psycho. Something needs to be done to cure a cop that has hatred in his holster, but this poem is not to find a cure. It is a warning shot. letting you know that as a black father, I have taught my son everything that he needs to know not to be shot by you. So damn it, I expect you to use your oath and your training to make sure that you do not shoot him. I will not be like Trayvon Martin's father because I am not that strong of a man. I am weak and reckless. I do not have time and patience to be sitting in a courtroom hearing testimony, testing my patience, hoping that a prosecutor that normally sends little black boys to prison will finally be on our side to get it right. I do not have time to see if you can get it right. I will not believe that it took an illegal Radio Raheem chokehold to subdue my son. Fuck that, I am his father. I know exactly how strong he is. I will not hear my wife yell no, scream why. And if the day ever comes that she has tears in her eyes, weakness in her legs, walking to me and yells out, do something, I will snap, break, kill, fuck a marsh. I will fly off the hinges, release my anger, the Kraken, throw away my freedom, turn into the same beast that you thought my son was when you pulled that trigger. Scratch that, turn into the same beast that you were when you pulled the trigger on my son. My son name will not be used as a warning cry or a chant at marches. My son picture will not be put on walls as murals or logos on t-shirts. My son will not have me and his mother dressed nicely on the cover of magazines holding pictures of him. My son will bury me. I will not bury my son. My son. Trey just turned 17. Old enough and light enough to be considered a pretty boy, but dark enough to be called and labeled a suspect. And I know that he has chances of being killed by somebody his own color, but it just angers and disgusts me knowing that my hard-earned tax money can be used to hire a hitman to kill my son. I am not strong enough to be a father of a dead black boy. So if you are listening, this is not a poem or a cool hashtag on Facebook. This is a father's warning shot, a cop manifesto from Los Angeles with the passion of Lavelle Mixon, letting you know that I'm not strong enough to do that. The only time that a son should be taken away from his mother was at birth by the medical staff. And shortly after, he's given back to her. So when you see my son out on those streets on a routine traffic stop, I expect him to be able to return back to his mother. I am not a killer. Don't push me.
All right, that was Inner City. Oh my goodness, so much prophetic. Oh my gosh. Coming up next to the stage, keeping with the motion and the movement, we're going to bring up Tim Toaster Henderson. Oh, of Team Berkeley. Oh, of Verses and Flows. Oh, of Team Unified. And oh, of High West, the Individual World Poetry Slam Championship. Bringing up brilliance. Give it up for Toaster.
Do not wear hoodies. Do not wear your pants low. Do not wear do-rags, fitted caps, ski caps. Do not wear headgear. Do not wear anything that's red and black, or blue and black, or yellow and gold and green and black. Do not wear pink and black or purple. Do not wear black. Do not wear white tees. Orange is fine. Suits are fine. Orange suits are fine. Do not wear expensive accessories. Do not wear tattoos and t-shirts with someone else's dead name on your dying skin. No obituaries. Funerals are fine. Church is fine. The field is fine. The stage is fine. The acts in front of the camera, even the hospitals are fine. Jerseys, scrubs, uniforms, suits are always fine as long as they can count the numbers on your back. Be a number, but do not be a statistic. Live like a fugitive without having ever broken the law. That means no mistakes, or gambling, or speeding, or liquor, or sex, or sugar. Do not smoke anything. Do not consume anything. Do not consume anything marketed to you. Do not go anywhere without receipts, alibis, without receipts, alibis, contacts. Well, they call you boy. Their boys are different. Their boys will be boys while you boys aren't boys at all. You boys get charged as an adult, even when you're hungry. Do not compromise food for dignity. Do not compromise family for dignity. Eat. Take it. Take someone else's food. Take someone else's food. Take someone else's food if they don't tell police. If they tell police, wear a suit. Suits are fine. Suits are always fine. They close your shoulders. They stiffen your back. A good suit will close your throat like a Christian board, ready for burial. A suit will bury you just fine, as long as you die. A suit.
Thank you, Toaster. All right, we're gonna bring up our next poet to the mic. Get right. This young man has been doing poetry across the U.S. and the UK. Tashaka has been doing poetry for over 20 years. In the U.S. and UK, he's a husband, he's a father, and loves the power of words. In 2004, he was the New Eureka Slam champion. In 2005, the San Francisco Grand Slam champion. In 2007, the Hollywood Grand Slam champion. And in 2010, UK's unsigned poetry champion. You all give it up for Tashaka Campbell. Yes.
What if we're just ordinary men, retracing the paths of our forefathers, better yet? What if we're the combined memories of aborted pharaohs? Confusion in blackface, puppets passing time by granting others the rights to our identity and stride, y'all. What if I told you that last night I decided to swallow mirrors and I fell asleep looking for a new view of myself? I woke up to an odd image, an image of the president hustling the Pope for the underground blueprints of the ghetto. Mona Lisa blowing in his hands for good luck, Condoleezza up his sleeve. I heard him whisper, red top raises makes blacks fold by the thousands. He said, I raised you society, poured into a petri dish, filtered through microscope. We've held them between church and state, but now that we control their money, we need to constitute their faith. See, y'all, their view of us to date has been seen on an atomic level. Since the days of Sandrain, between Tuskegee experiments, dictators dictated creation through standstill dreams. They stretched me. Recreated chromosomes, published connect-the-dot field slave manuals for easy replication. They advertise free National Geographic headshots in Vibe and XXL, but now I have XX and I play to you as cold black man. Kalimba capillaries fed by CNN, drum beats in my heart, hallowed echoes reverberating Claude McKay, Stokely, County, Cullen, Muhammad, Mustafa, Ali, GK, OC, Oakley, Yusuf, Tubman, CLR, James, Baldwin, Nathaniel, Hannibal, Giovanni, Osiris, Isis, Shaka, Menelik, Imhotep today, you tomorrow, yesterday we were Philistine. I am revolution brushed with Dogon, serious B-vision, serious about walking down a famished Broadway block, using Da Vinci codes to hack into Disneyland. Because y'all, they been slipping us Mickeys. Tightrope around my neck, tomorrow in a sling, sorting through sugarcane sweat record labels to define my ingredients, y'all. I play BET. I play BET on Nintendo Game Boys worldwide. They gamed black boys in the world while MTV tutors held handcuffed kindergarten classes in their mouths. I found the word Pepsi in MS Word spell check. Y'all, Pepsi ain't even a fucking word. Y'all best believe niggas will be spelled out in version 10.0. I am cold Negro. Africa in my veins. Carrying my nigga named American Express black card member since 1804. They forced me to leave home without it. I'm the usual suspect with a permanent limp from crip walking with shackles. A starving vegetarian in a herd of buffalo. I can only be as I am told, even when I'm told I'm not. Wrestling with demons that resemble progress. I am a Brooklyn slave inside of a crack pipe in the middle of Afghanistan, picking cotton with Black Panthers at my heels. Black Jacobins on my birth certificate, using Malcolm X postage stamps to shop at Target. Bullseye tattooed to black boy mosquitoes. These bloodsuckers think I can't feel them bite. I'm America's handprint on Hutu machetes, wearing mudcloth blindfolds and cotton fields stuffed into my ears to muffle the sound of severed generations. Y'all, I can only see the moves orbit in metaphors. ready for the world armed with Cliff Note heritage. A Jamaican terrorist plot to recapture reggae music, rewind, select, Babylon soon will come. I'm new brand Negro, brand new Negro, franchise Negro with Nike chakras included, preloaded ice grills sold separately. At conflict with conflict diamonds, creating conflict around heroes being made out of pimps and convicts, y'all. I'm the stakes from the Pope and the old president, till we realize what's really at stake for the Pope and the old president. Y'all, I'm a black man at the age of confusion, and I'm just looking for a new view of myself. Thank you.
All right, let's attract the camera. We are doing big things this afternoon. All right, coming up next to the stage, keeping the brilliance and the profound going, we are bringing Molly. Molly, a.k.a. Ernest Arrows, founder of the Sweet Potato Pie and Artist Group, which was formed to combat AIDS and hate for same-gender loving people. Put your hands together for Molly. Come on.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to share this piece. I think it was the first time outside of the civil rights movement that we became conscious when we actually saw a man beat on primetime TV. Eric Garner will never go home again. Haru, haru. Oscar Grant will never go home again. Haru, haru. Michael Brown will never go home again. The enemy, they slew ya, and they loot and burn your hometown down. Many who never knew ya, with shields and guns and guns and shields. Haru, haru, with shields and guns and guns and shields. Haru, haru. What can you do in 81 seconds? What can you do in 81 seconds? You can give someone a quick smack on the cheek, announcing your affection. You can gently stroke a cheek, following the cheekbone, following the curve along to the hollow. Or, if you are white men who are filled with bloodlust, if you are 4 white men who are hiding behind sheets, shields instead of sheets, robed in blue, if you are 4 white men who speak of black men grunting like gorillas, you can beat a man 56 times with a baton in 81 seconds. The new and improved whip of the day. What can you do in 81 seconds if you are a black man surrounded by white cops and batons? You can be knocked to your knees. You can try to rise, to flee, to escape the threat of death descending upon you methodically. Try to escape from the hands of white cops who are infuriated by your existence, your right to be, and angered by your refusal to stop when ordered. What can you do in 81 seconds? You can watch the images of history past brought into the present, played out in prime time. In 81 seconds, I can remember the first time I saw the picture of a lynching. In 81 seconds, I can remember the first time I saw a cop brutalize somebody black. In 81 seconds, I can reflect on cops and dogs and water hoses and batons, bright, shiny batons, red with the blood of me and one of my brothers. In 81 seconds, you can smash a window. You can vent a rage so long, so deep, it has no name. A rage that is as long as the history of black people's presence in this country. It takes less than 81 seconds for me to know, in spite of gains, racism is still alive and well, killing sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but still killing us. It takes me less than 81 seconds to feel my rage with guns and shields and shields and guns. Haru, haru, with guns and shields and shields and guns. Haru, haru, with guns and shields and guns and shields. The enemy, they slew ya. Thank you.
bring up our next artist to the mic. You all give it up for the literary masturbator, Jair.
I wrote this as I was thinking about Gil Scott-Heron. The revolution will not be televised, but if you're not careful, the revolution will pass you by. The revolution will not be updated on your Facebook timeline. The revolution won't be viewed on YouTube. You can't Google it, post it on Craigslist, tweet it, text it on your mobile phone, or get likes for it on Instagram. Can you hear me now? Good. The revolution won't be in a blog and it won't be voted off because the tribe has spoken. The revolution will be trivialized, ostracized, demonized, politicized, revised, categorized, sanitized, sensationalized, overanalyzed, institutionalized. And if you're not careful, the revolution will happen right before your eyes, but you won't be aware enough to even visualize. Then one day you'll realize if they keep you looking outside, you won't bother looking inside, and the revolution will keep passing you by. Folks keep saying you're occupied, but take stock of what's occupying your mind. Harriet Tubman said she freed thousands of people, and she would have freed thousands more had they known they were already free. You must be the change you want to see in the world, said Mahatma Gandhi. You see, the revolution is you. The revolution is me. The revolution will include gays, convicts, addicts, attorneys, and the police, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, atheists, Wiccans, and Sikhs. Blacks, whites, Asians, indigenous peoples, and Latinos, Nigerians, Russians, Salvadorans, and Filipinos. Poets, pimps, preachers, politicians, and prostitutes, you will be amazed by what a revolutionary constitutes. It takes strength, courage, and wisdom, a deep well of faith, hope, and optimism. It's the kind of stuff you want to stop with your cosmic biscuits, the kinds you have with your philosophical rice and gravy. To paraphrase Ella Baker, until the killing of black people's children, black mothers, sons, and daughters, is important as the killing of white people's children, white mothers, sons, and daughters. It is time the revolution recognizes the way we act, think, speak, and be. Because the revolution is you. The revolution is me. Even Dorothy had to get caught up in a tornado to realize everything she needed, she already possessed inside. So keep your head held high so the revolution won't pass you by.
All right, and keeping us moving in passion and poetry, we are going to bring up next to the stage Derek Carr. Derek graduated from Yale in 2011. He wrote his thesis on hip-hop and literature. He performs throughout the Bay Area and helps run the Lit Slam. Give it up for Derek Carr.
So I normally leave out where I go, where I went to school, and conversations around this, but it's particularly relevant in this moment because by all of the trappings of how we define success, I'm pretty much winning. I've been educated, middle class, very solidly. Like, I play by the rules and I win. And I'm kind of like, fuck the rules though. So where I've been the last couple of weeks is like having this obsession with the idea of a brick. And what would happen if someone were to place one in my hand, being a person who plays by the rules, doesn't like violence. And every time I sit to write and think, I just come back to this idea of a brick. And so I've started writing this thing, it's called The Brick Song, a mixtape for Mike, Cameron, Darian, and unnamed others. If a tree falls, there has to be a sound. This time, let there be thunder. Year before Trayvon's Twitter blew out, we opened with a DJ cut. Hear Wiz Khalifa croon, his voice smokes like a hot gunmetal barrel. You know what it is. In my town, when you see me, you know everything. I'm black and tired, black and tired, black and tired, black and tired. If a boy falls, there has to be a song. Sometimes
Folk playing music shakes so hard it's poised to wake the dead. I think that's just a figure of speech, but let's try it anyway. For the boys. Not them boys, not the cops in the ghetto who move like the Gestapo, drunk off their power and greed, they often hostile. My little homie talk shit back and they beat his ass. My own mama called me and said, baby, I'm just glad they ain't put their hands on my child or kill his ass. Please don't rap about that shit, but they murder your black ass. My poem is an itching rash, hung restless with weight for months. My fingers wrap around a brick, pocked with mortar dimples, no cracks, a good brick. I never lift it, never see it, I just feel it. Tethered to my wrist, humming its song, drumming against my creases, begging for a glass symphony. The world is yours in a world we can't afford, so ignore the law. Start a fire and start a war if you're sick and tired of your access denied. Glass needs to break, but if a track bumps just right, a window pane becomes a wine glass. This tape is for the dead, written in sound before becoming a mosaic of shattered crystal. The weight of this invisible brick makes it unbearable. I keep begging no one puts one in my hand. There's no real difference between flying and falling. We'll hear a song either way. Again, either way, the kids tired of dying and walking around like they shooken. Ain't no blood pumping, no fear. I got hope inside of my bones. Hope is so hollow, but if hope is hollow, then watch that brick or that black boy fly.
Let's show some more love for Derek Carr. Thank you. All right. Please bring up our next artist, songwriter, poet, writer, health educator, community actor, an American treasure. Some of his amazing work can be seen in the Smithsonian. You all give it up for Blackberry.
I'm going to change it up a little bit here. Since I am the elder, I remember a time when black folks had community. I remember a time when we spend money in our own community. I remember a time when we had prosperity in our community. We supported one another in our community. We had black economics in our community. We need to get back to black economics in our community. This song is about black folks, one black man in particular. I did some music for a documentary for radio. It was called Knocking at the Gateway of Gold. It was about the history of San Francisco. A lot of folks don't know that in San Francisco there was a thriving black community that had money. They had money, they had wealth. And this is a song about a man who was supported by that community. His name is Archie Lee.
Did you hear about Archie? Archie Lee? He been set free, oh well, he been set free. They talking about Archie Lee, Lord. They talking about Archie Lee, Lord. He been set free. He been set free. When Archie Lee, a child of slavery, was brought to California. He ran away from where his master stayed, and his master said, "Doggone you, when I get my hands on him, I'm gonna beat him with a hunk of wood. And then I'll send him back to old Mississippi where the nigger trade is good." Did you hear about Archie, Archie, Archie Lee? Ben said free, oh well, Ben said free. They talking about Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, they talking about Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, he been set free. He been set free. Well, some men, they found him, tied and bound him, gagged him, so he couldn't make a sound. But then a crowd of angry people. And then they put him on a wagon, and he was old Mississippi bound. But then a crowd of angry people, not because they were benevolent, but because San Francisco at the time did not support slavery. They were a union town. And they set him free. Did you hear about Archie, Archie, Archie Lee? Ben said free, oh well, Ben said free. They're talking about Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, they're talking about Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, he's been set free. He's been set free. Well, he went to court. His trial was short. And his verdict made history. And some rich black folks gave him money so he could pay his legal fee. When Archie walked out of that courtroom, he was as happy as could be. And the word, it traveled near and far, telling of his victory. Now we sing about Archie, Archie, Archie Lee. Ben said free, oh well, Ben said free. They're talking about Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, they're talking about Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, he's been set free. He's been set free. Where he been set free, he been set free. We're talking about Archie, Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, he been set free. He been set free. Talking about Archie, Archie, Archie Lee. Lord, Lord, he been set free. Lord, Lord, he been set free. 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 Been set free.
Thank you, Blackberry. Thank you, Blackberry. Thank you, Blackberry. And see, this is what we needed. That's Blackberry. Several decades of activism through the arts. No, not just only in this country, but in other countries. And this is where we come from. So what we're doing is a natural extension of what we already are seeded with in our DNA. So I just wanted to take 5 seconds to give thanks to every artivist who has performed so far. We have more artivists coming forth, but it's really important to honor what you've done, what you've given. So please. Thank you for honoring it. I also wanted to thank our co-hosts, Mona and Audacious I Am, and I was wondering if Mona Webb, the Mona Webb, yes, the Mona Webb, National Poetry Slam, mentor, educator. You're not only in this space, you're in so many other spaces, Stanford University, etc. And regardless of where you go, you're always rooted. You are always the home girl. And we appreciate you coming home so that you could share your time and your energy with us. Would you grace us with a piece, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Color complex. I grew up in the South. I'm from Louisiana. That is where I moved here from. And we have a lot of issues around race and color, and especially amongst our young people. And so this poem was for my high school students who hated everything about themselves that made them black people and wouldn't let go of the word nigger.
Black girl, light-skinned and nigga. The boys like me, they like light mellow skin tones. It is a light-skinned girl, all the boys want a bone. And although I think it is sin for you to want me for the delusion in my skin, light-skinned and niggas are in. And to the dark skin, they say tar baby, yes, tar baby, charcoal black baby, African booty scratching baby, yes, anything but black, yes, I said anything but black. Big lip, big nose, nappy hair, these are the only things that make us black. Yes, these are the only things that make us black. See, they say they don't want me to be a white girl, but I don't peep their game. Red bone, caramel cream, light skin, bright skin, yes, anything but black. Yes, I said anything but black. I never heard black folks claim they were African or say my great-great-grandmama was Ghanaian. See, I just suddenly used to tell me my church dark brown, baby, and ruin that creamy brown complexion. But to be color-struck was taught to me to be an obsession. But being a light-skinned nigga ain't shit to me, because when the cops pull me over, a nigga is all they see. There will be no hey, honey, brown, caramel cream, light skin, bright skin. I'm not going to give you a ticket this time because your skin is diluted with my kind, and I feel some kind of cosmic connection. Objection, nigga, get the fuck out the car and don't move too fast, we'll blow off your ass. So understand this outside of the Misfits of Black Project, and this outside of Misfits of the Black Middle Class, and this outside of Misfits of the Black Bourgeoisie. Being a light-skinned nigga ain't shit.
Thank you very much. Thank you with the movement, grooving and profound. Rolling right into our next amazing performance poet coming to the stage. We have Daled Jeffries coming up. Okay, this was one of the co-producers of the National Poetry Slam 2014 right here in Oakland, California. Yes, y'all. He's been on a number of Bay Area National Poetry Slam teams. He's been a performance poet for a number of years, over 10, I believe. He is a slam master of the Oakland Poetry Slam, and he is about to be a new daddy, baby. Yes. Y'all put your hands together. Show your love for our amazing community organizer. Give it up for Daled.
Nice shirt.
Yeah, I'm about to be a father. I'm 43 years old. I'm about to have my first. Well, I'm not about to have a baby. In less than 1 month, I'm going to be a father, and I am terrified. I was working on a piece about that right over there, but it is not ready. It's not ready. If you can piss me off with one little word, ends with and I really only mean make me want to fight if you're white, then should I be equally upset when some nigga calls me kike, or it's like ya high yellow half-breed, or otherwise overtly tries to sow some sort of seed of hatred that's racist, shade motivated, even though it's obvious that we're all related. Ain't it? Me, I'm just glad that I made it this far. Figuring out exactly who it is that I are. Never gonna be a star because I'm never gonna try. Why should I? There's a universe behind these eyes. If my Jewish mother's parents, brought all 4 of their Ashkenaz asses here in the boat about 1910 through Ellis Island from Eastern Europe, and my pops peeped slave-owning forefathers obviously had they sausages all up in chattel servitude syrup and grits, then is my black experience somehow less real than gets? You see, my skin tone, hair texture, and the fact that, yeah, I said it, my mom is Ukrainian. She's about as white as can be, but that don't keep me from being stopped for DWB, because what 50Cs is indeed a black man. An American, African, diasporally predisposed to having a goddamn chip on my motherfucking shoulders. It's just a little piece of the Sisyphean task that is bearing the bulk of prejudice's boulder, which doesn't get easier as I get older. In fact, it feels like it gets more awkward and harder. The whole conversation these days is a non-starter. You can't even use words that accurately represent the reality of the situation. I mean, try having a simple talk about the price of gas with somebody who won't acknowledge inflation, much less an in-depth conversation on the intricacies of workers' rights with an idiot who ignores illegal immigration. See, if you claim to be colorblind, and meanwhile, I just so happen to be a person of color, what other conclusion can I come to but that you can't see me? You're missing a major point in the plot. On the planet that I'm from, wherein this color can get me shot, or strung up by the neck, or at very least, profiled and stopped, perched in that precarious position, pondering, is protecting and serving really their mission when it comes to me and mine? The ability to achieve a colorblind state in America is white privilege defined. If the very last thing that slave traders did before herding their blacks onto a boat was taste them, and I mean taste them, put pink tongue to brown skin to see who's most or least likely to survive the time afloat, then how, now, can you fault me for still being just a little bit salty?
All right, this next artist that's coming to the mic, he wants the audience to know that he represents family. He represents unity, giving back to the community of non-judgment. This man every week gives back to the community by donating food to families across Oakland. He works with our youth in middle school, teaching poetry, spoken word, and writing. He hosts a radio show on KPR1. He hosts an open mic every first Monday of the month at Lyrical Laundry at the Imagine Fair. You all give it up for Four Family.
They hide the world from us, and they supply us with the drugs and guns. Now they're taking schools away, where our kids don't have no sports to play. It's an ugly world, but they teach us that our mind is a terrible thing to waste. A lot of black on black crimes, but it's crimes in every race. Families killing their own family members. Our kids not even safe. And the world is so corrupt, and they finally freed the gays. The hope from the people is acceptance, curing cancer and AIDS, and they say that we are free. Are we free, or is the change you just don't see? See, they lock us up, and they throw away the key. And every day, another dead brother and sister. The only difference is we're not hanging from the tree. Okay.
Thank you. All right, we're going to keep this thing moving. Our next artist, Gazier, is a performance artist activist receiving his BA in instrumental performance with an emphasis in queer activism. He can be found on SoundCloud under Sir Bitch the Swish. You all give it up for Gazier.
Why can't black be a pretty thing? And oh, so pretty thing. I want to be pretty. Black's not pretty. It's dirty, son. It's soiled as midnight and toting a gun. I'm your special guest. I have black privilege. Ladies and gentlemen, your very special guest. My eyes are pretty. My skin, it's not offensive. It's that won't get you down brown. They call me mulatto, meaning half and half. The word's origin is mule by definition of breed that cannot reproduce itself. We call it, that's why you're brown. If you were black, blue would accent your hue. Look how uppity you get now. Who's talking about who? Bitch, don't be mad at me because I can go where you can't. I'm your special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, your very special guest, featuring niggas. This asks questions. White man's justice never answers the out, laid out in darkness, struggling against the moon, crying, who, a clue? Something ain't working out between me and you. Nigga, rue. I am a hybrid, which means I'm part monkey, but I always wanted to be pretty. As I take the light side or dark side of me, flip my coin, I'm in pleasure half the time. They like to talk about my eyes, how they are pretty. Yeah, I get to be pretty. Some days I get to be pretty. Sometimes people like to say nigga and stare at me for reaction. White people are funny and disappointing. Funny because in their natural state they don't want to be offensive. In the US, a red man's playing offending is what they do best. I need a rest from racism. I need to close my eyes one night. I am your special guest, ladies and gentlemen, your very special guest. I'm so light, they don't even frown. So light, I am befriended. So light that white people like to say things like some people deserve to be called nigga in front of me without blinking or thinking, without knowing that as white as they are now, they're showing me their color. That's bizarre. Being white, you must not have to think. Being black, you think. Are they looking at me? What do they think of me? Do I speak good enough for them? I mean, well enough for them, should I speak at all? I don't want to speak, I want to holler. I don't want to speak, I want to scream. I don't want to speak, I want to throw a punch. I want to bite, I want to chew. I don't want to be like you. What you do is not civilized. Why should I act like it's right? What is white about being wrong, especially when being wrong feels so white? I just want to be pretty. There's no such thing as being black and being pretty. There's being black and being revolutionary. There's being black and being a sellout. There's being black and being Afrocentric. There's being black and being a slave. Black is not pretty. Black is not pretty. Black is not pretty. Black is beautiful, but not pretty. I just want to be pretty. I am your special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, your very special guest.
Thank you, that's it. We're going to give it up for our next artist in solidarity, in pure solidarity, a money for peace and community.
Money, money, money!
Also meant to write. You can find me on Thursday nights at the open mic, Cypher, 15th and Harrison, about 7 to 10. And anywhere else you invite me. When I'm on San Bruno, I never make a right on Bacon Street. I make my way around the way they say you see the scenery, but it's more profound and less pleasant a reason. It's set in stone. The seasons can change, but that reason won't. Came a long way from the day I was broken to pieces, piece of shit I never met, but yet rocked my foundation and weakened me. He made a left, send shots right through my pops, right on my block, right where life stopped. This still tortures and temporarily peaks and climbs when the pain of his absence creeps in. My path in life was bent in a new direction, but didn't have no compass. Encompass the roughest rumble of tumbleweed, seedy and stemming out the rockiest cliff. Rocky Mountain, swift winds whip the sides of whites and eyes, scraped, leaking, turned red, bleeding. Said he seen his brain coming out his head and only heard gurgled speaking. His mind was lost, splattered against the spry, starlit night and the dry wall. Past the window, shattered on the steering wheel, instantaneously. His strong will killed, slain. I didn't want the stain to remain, but I didn't want the rain to wash memory away either. Like, could it go back? Lungs drain, your blood return and flood and fill with air. He's back to breathing, his heart's pumping up, speeding like he did on the freeway when he was miles from a mile away. Even though when someone called, he'd say, I'm right down the street. Where his voice would never reach, but his spirit forever speaks, is right on Bacon Street. The street every morning that meets my feet. The street I lit candles in morning led me to more than retreat from. So if you ever drive me home and make that right, don't mind myself in post position, prolific pivots, shunning, shoving vision, choosing to close my eyes and forfeit this gift of sight. Because right then, I lost the taste for bacon. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're so happy that you came in, you were drawn to the energy, and that you brought your gift. And we want to continue to do so. So if there are other artists who would like to sign up to share, we are a little past our halfway point of the live broadcast. Once again, this is a live taping. Peace to the rest of the world. This is what Oakland does, and this is how we do it. Home of the Black Panthers, come on now. Andrew Davis, come on now. Also, home of Oscar Grant. So we're very bright. We're so clear. We still couldn't be clearer than all of us. And so what I'd like to do is invite the artists who have already shared to also sign up if you have a second piece that you would like to share this gorgeous sunny day. And thank you again, Audacious I Am, who is co-hosting so well. We wanted to repeat, of course, that this is a national fundraiser, and I believe it's becoming an international fundraiser because people are starting to let their folks know in other parts of the world that they have an opportunity to make an impact here. This is a very important fundraiser because it will literally free people who should not be captive. One of those people is Mike Brown. Doesn't make any sense that his murderer is paid and free, and he's on trial. Mike Brown is seriously on our minds every single day. This is an opportunity for people to take that and turn it into action. So I encourage people to hit up the site. Would you mind giving me the site address one more time? Because I gave the Tumblr site, which is Poets for Ferguson, which works too. Excellent. Poetsforferguson.tumblr.com. And once again, this fundraiser will ease the legal fees of those righteous folks who are just saying this is not right and are now being held captive. So thank you very much. I believe Audacious has some more folks lined up, so thank you.
So we're going to keep this thing moving. We have a couple of artists who've been added to the list and a couple of artists who are going to repeat. So we're going to bring back up Corey, the poet. Show him some love.
Just the other day, I had this 25-year-old snot-nosed, pants dragging, ass sagging somebody's son run up on me asking me what have I ever done. So I want to give him a little knowledge and maybe a little inspiration. So I replied to him, but not for validation, because I only believe that God and me can validate me. So I told him, son, at the end of this conversation, you may not remember my name, you may not remember my face, but know this, my words. See, my words are ubiquitous, they're everywhere. As he looked at me with that blank stare, and I told him, now contemplate on this. He hanging and dangling from a tree while his body twitches and pisses on itself until his neck snaps and breaks. People standing around watching with fear and uncertainty because they seen our people get murdered and raped. Now fast forward. There's a lot of things going on in this world. Is it worth fighting for? It's kind of hard to tell. Especially nowadays when you can get shot 41 times by a cop as they ring out our deathbed. And I'm not condoning what the next brother did, but they helped create people like Lavelle Mix and Fixin to pull that trigger. You will not kill me like I'm some other dumb nigga. So he opened up his mouth like he was ready to interrupt, and I said, that's the problem with the youth. You ask the question, sit there and listen. Shut the fuck up. See, I told him this is our world and we all have to live in it. See, but we have to put up with things like this. You can have 4 of them beating you down on videotape like you're 50. And then they're having all white jury and all 4 of them will be found not guilty. Or you can be a cop. You can be a bar cop, have your suspect down on his stomach, handcuffed, and then shot. Shot in the back, you see, and in the meanwhile, they'll move the trial and the shooter basically murder will get off scot-free. Do you want to go home or do you want to go to jail? What the hell is Denzel? We need that choice in our life. See, but this is not a training day. This is a training life. That's why I don't worry about my personal plight, but we have to worry about our justly fight. See, and I'm not saying this to disrespect anyone. This one right here, listen closely, this one is cold. When a white female congresswoman gets shot in the head, now they want to talk about gun control. Where has this conversation been at for all these years while mothers and fathers and families and kids have been crying and dying in the hood for years, sharing each other mournful tears? See, this is why I pick up the fight so that the world can understand. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone. And I'm not from any kind of rap group, but I went from a ghetto boy to an intelligent man. And this is why I pick up these signs and stand in these lines and tell this unfair system what the fuck is on my mind. See, never have I been one of those who wishing to do something when I could. I've always been the type that can say, I stood. So he looked at me and he said, mister, you haven't answered my question. And I told him, if you close your mouth and open your ears, you just might learn a lesson. Police brutality, political cover-ups, people winning presidential elections because their brother was the governor. See, and you worried about the SLU or the ALU, well, from my mouth to your ears, I simply say STFU. While you and yours get richer and richer like it's all good. And the poor gets poorer and poorer. Pretty soon they will all be considered the wrong hood. Your gated community and suburbs will soon be touched, and they all should. So you can sick your dogs on me, racial profile me, mace me, but like a steel pole cemented into the concrete ground, I will stand there gracefully. So I told him, when you forget my name, but you try to remember who I was, just always remember that I did what I could. Because in the face of adversity, I stood. In the arms of tragedy, I stood while the whole world looked at me like I was speaking blasphemy. I stood like that single tear through Denzel's cheek in glory, never breaking, never shaking, uncaving, never wavering. I stood. Thank you. Yeah.
Give it up again for Corey. Our poets for Ferguson. Definitely. Thank you so much for that, Corey. Let's give it up for our next artist. We're going to bring back up For Family. Show them love. All the way back up.
As my people sing, free at last, thank God Almighty, I am free at last. Free at last, thank God, I'm free at last. As our people sing, free at last, thank God Almighty, I am free at last. It seems like everybody in the world just smiles in your face. We cry about the system, but a stand we won't take. We define our own kind and play modest to one's different. We intend to ignore and close doors to one's skin color the same as yours. So we can't fight about racism because we killing and calling each other niggas. It seems like our dream that was once turned into reality is being turned back into a dream. But my people still sing. Free at last, thank God Almighty. I am free at last. Free at last, thank God Almighty. I am free at last.
All right, let's give it up again for Family. All right, we're going to keep this thing moving, but I also want to make an announcement. Poets, when you come to the mic, artists, make sure we kind of stand in this frame of the camera's view. All right, so we're going to bring up this next artist. You all give it up for July. Woo!
Hashtag Poets for Ferguson, poetsforferguson.tumblr.com. I started my morning, like beginning of my morning, like 12 midnight on the blog from my room. And I'm very grateful to be part of this flood. A hip hop. White boys rocking Jordans and niggas is caught in skinny jeans. When I was a kid, we used to say, how can your Jimmy breathe? Would you believe another baby was murdered to death? Wasn't nobody there. Nobody came. Just another gun aimed. Click, clack, shameless. Team has been the same since that nigga made changes. PAC, these niggas is crazy, crying and bawling for you like your little gangster babies. Come save me. Nah, we need some other deities. Bro, I love you, but life is more than the greenery. Change the scenery. For that, I need cheese. No, you don't. Just feet. Nigga, seek trees. I don't mean breeze. Nigga, breathe. I don't mean weed. Nigga, breathe, breeze. But then that shit's polluted, so somebody need bleed. Funny how it's never police, but niggas G's though. Kinfolk, what your G's for? Can you see hope? What I see is motive potential for a manana grind, but now I'm on that honor thing. Let me stop. Drink, smoke, bro, bunch of shit to keep you unseen and unwoke. We is some dope, a metaphysical wonder man, pitch from other lands, brother man, do you comprehend? Shit, I don't either. It's been 400 years and they still own all the bleachers. They still own all the sneakers. We still own on our feet, compete to keep them pleased. Fiends to see their ease, sold them our piece of peace. Who is we though? I'm just a half black mixed in. Who is they though? My father can't stand rhythms of the laid low, quivering with anger and hungry. Told him that something of me he must see, but even he don't believe. Even me got my doubts. Tell him what isn't dream. Get told you could walk it out, and I can though. But I ain't make this for me. I made it for hands cold and those that danced on rope, standing on soap and boxing my dodgy shadow. Niggas ain't coca, the options awfully shallow. That's why I'm spitting this middle of the ocean shit. So it isn't for sale like those ships. Bet I'm good for the wisdom like rose ships. Motherfucker know this. Or don't trip. Nigga, just make your cash right and laugh, right? Nigga, they want us last night. Dead. They trying to see us up. Dead. Dead. They trying to see us up. Dead. They trying to see us up. Dead. Dead. They trying to see us up. Dead. But we won't fall though. No, we won't fall though. Now, we won't fall, though, long as you all know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're going to keep this thing moving. We're going to bring up another artist who just joined us in the space and wants to share some, some love on the mic. Y'all give it up for Van J.
Great.
I always start off with, and Pop told me back in '96, we're not ready to see a black president. And it's not a secret, and don't conceal the fact. Here's to you, black soldiers, fighting in Vietnam, helping your oppressor oppress another man. Here's to you who volunteered your precious lives to give, while we here in the ghetto are struggling to live. Here's to you who, gun in hand, another's land the throne, while National Guardsmen terrorize the ones you left at home. We hope and pray that you've been spared when casualties are hives. We demonstrate for your return, and we mourn you when you die. We've watched you grow up from a child. We know your strength and might. It is no news for us to hear how gallantly you fight. It is a sin for you to be upon some foreign shores, while National Guardsmen terrorize the ones you left here at home. To know the use of weaponry, I must admit, that is good. There is an occupation for us in our neighborhoods. They call themselves peace officers and law enforcement groups. But from the acts that they commit, we know that they are troops. The government is cracking down with their oppressive hand. They have a dream of stamping out resistance in the land. But our determination grows and widens with the days. We'll fight them from the rooftops and from the alleyways. We'll come upon them in the night and we'll put them to the blade. We'll free the prisoners from their jails and calculated raids. Just one desire burns in our hearts, our bonds and chains to bust. We only wish that with your skills that you were here with us. So here's to you, black soldier, in some far off distant land. Sometimes the question does arise, on which side do you stand? They called it a riot in Newark when the people arose as one. In Detroit, Cleveland, and Watts, they fought back with firebombs and guns. They said, what's the matter with these niggas? They said, they seem to be going wild. All of this fuss over one incident, a policeman killing a child, and why are they burning and looting the stores? The merchant has been their friends. Well, maybe he cheated for a few cents every now and again. And what about the tenements that they're burning down in the slums? Some thug they call a slumlord is losing his income. Where is scares they received when the brother said, no, let's not burn the ghettos down. We'll break up in groups and firebomb and loot on the opposite side of town. So then they called in an army with machine guns and tanks and ordered them to attack. The people arose together as one and used what they had to fight back. And now that has arisen, while the few are in fuss, if they look over their past and examine their deeds, they'll know what's the matter with us. When will the promises be fulfilled that they have made to us over the years? Where is the pay we have not received for our blood, sweat, and tears? Where is the employment that we need? A decent salary. Welfare payments will not do to feed a family. They say conditions are this way because we don't have skills. But instead, they offer us extermination pills. So we sound a warning, and they better change their tune. Because if they don't make laws for things right, they will better do something soon. Because their law enforcement will not work. Whatever they conspire will only serve to make us strong. We will fight fire with fire. No, that was not a ride that they sing in downtown. That was a dress rehearsal for things that are yet to come.
Said it well. Y'all give it up again for Ben. All right. We're gonna bring this artist back up to the mic. Y'all show some love to Miley.
Young people, we are at risk for many things. Just think about it. AIDS, Central Africa, Zaire, Ebola, Central Africa. There's a plot existing to free up the resources of the world for those who use them the most. This is a story about those who have been impacted by HIV in Oakland. I have watched them. 2 epidemics. I have watched them, my friends, crawl up into a closet with a glass dick and crack it up and crack it up, trying to run away from a disease that will not let go, of its hold on them and many unsuspected others. I have watched them trying just to live, loving, wanting to be loved by someone, anyone who will validate their existence. I have watched them engage in unsafe sex that continues to put them and others at risk. Just good people trying to find some joy and love and happiness, throwing caution to the wind while they crack it up. I have watched them each minute, each hour, each day, each week, each month, each year, crack it up, as they don the face of fear, don the face of shame, don the face of pain, as they watch friends, lovers, pass, die, as they crack it up. Watching the numbers go from 1 to thousands, consumed by this deadly virus called AIDS, while they crack it up. I have watched with bated breath as viral loads climb, as T cells drop, while countless infections take their opportunity to cause unwanted demise of many, my friends, your friends. I have watched them, fat muscles fall like rain, leaving bulging skeletons pushing, while they crack it up. I have watched them look into the mirror trying to see what they used to look like while they crack it up. I have watched them compose and sing songs of love and loss. I have watched them continue to dance. I have watched them to wonder why they continue to live, wonder why they are still here. Countless others have fallen. I ask myself sometimes, while I have cracked it up, cracked it up, cracked it up. I have watched the talented, the lovely, the gifted, the beautiful fade away while they crack it up, crack it up. I have watched them contemplate suicide when the pain and fear no longer can be tolerated. I have watched them question and hate who they are, accepting AIDS is a constant consequence of their sexual identity as they crack it up, crack it up. I have watched them, a few go on living with sorrow and disbelief, hoping that the next hour, the next day will be different from the day before. I have watched them crack it up, crack it up. I have watched them cry because no one is there for them. I have watched them wonder where their friends and family are, in spite of many who say, I'll be there for you, I care for you. I have watched them, as a result, crack it up, crack it up. When friends and loved ones and family, meaning well, wanting to be there for you, but not understanding your gender or identity, you crack it up, crack it up, crack it up. I have watched them hate themselves for believing in God. I have watched them close, at a distance, in the mirror, crack it up.
They'll be the last group of poets in our broadcast, and we're really excited about that. Hopefully we get them up soon. Give us a minute to get them back on the stream, and we'll be with you shortly. Just bear with us for a minute. We're in the last stretch. We've just got a few more hours left, about 3 hours left. So if you haven't already, donate to poetsforferguson.tumblr.com, and you can go to the GoFundMe there, and you'll be able to donate what you can. If you have a small bit, that's perfectly fine. If you have a big bit, that helps even more. If you don't have anything, then you can always share on whatever social platform you have, or just communicating with people around you. Make sure you use the hashtag poetsforferguson.tumblr.com, Tumblr.com is the Tumblr page where you can watch this live stream. It's also where you can get the GoFundMe information. Use the hashtag poets for Ferguson. And also just a heads up for anyone who has missed the last few streams that we've had posted on YouTube. All you have to do is Google Poets for Ferguson, and you'll be able to look at all the videos. And yeah, you'll be able to check all the videos out that you may have missed previously, and they should all be there in a row, and you can take a look and see what poets you missed and what poems you love. You can look those poets up, follow them on their Instagrams and Twitters and their Facebook pages. Give us 1 second to get our sound up, and we'll be with you guys shortly.
Guys. Oh, yes. Let me make sure. Can you check with Sasha to see how that's looking on her end?
Move it over.
How's that, Sasha?
Move it over to the left.
So more like that?
More over to Derek. More over to Derek.
Derek, wave your hands for me, dear.
That's probably
That's it, right there. Perfect. All right.
That was not camera for everybody, right? You know what? We needed some levity. Fuck it.
Yeah, right.
So is that gonna mean? Yeah. We good? Okay. So while recalibrating after some technical difficulties, we realized we needed some levity because you know, a whole lot of poems about people being angry. And if you don't like poems about black people being angry, maybe we should as a society stop doing things that make black people angry. You didn't need that message? Well, go tell your friends. Go get your people. Okay, so Poets for Ferguson, we're here to do poems. I'm gonna do poems. If you're watching this, you should go to the GoFundMe.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a poem about last year's Independence Day. Most days when I think of freedom, I see a bird that cleaves open the night. Each wing beat strips the black back, and I peer into that gap, push through somewhere else, that other place where freedom lives. Today, freedom slow drips from every tongue, and the people decide whether to celebrate by feasting, fucking, or emulating.
Pick 1, fireworks. Pick 2, charcoal flame grill. Pick 3, stoke your lover. Bump bodies until you both combust. Swallow the embers. Today, we call freedom by its given name and say nothing of its mother's disappointment. My teenage neighbors fling ping pong balls at solo cups and belt happy birthday so loud it drowns out the street, which is, by now, nothing but bang and light. I sit on a warehouse roof in Oakland, cash-strapped white artists who've made brick chic. They yell and hiss at the police cars passing below on the street and don't have the good sense to duck afterwards. We're watching the sky, me and these people who think of freedom as something already right here, ringing from fuses in every direction. We listen and laugh as freedom mars the sky with ash so thick it would ground a bird or mask its wings. Further east we look, the more bang and bright we see. More poverty, fewer groceries too. Freedom must be a simple thing to shoot into the night when so much of it has already been stripped. West, white beams wrapped red stream skyward, a flashbang barrage straight from an 80s arcade cabinet. The torrent aims for a bird, an invader, crazy and flapping swerve-driven wings. A spiral whirl blossoms in the sky. Born by soot, she streams toward the sulfur cloud, wingtip slicing the night. A hailfire of spark against this beast, too busy being whatever she wants to be afraid. This is what it means to be free. My eyes follow her clear through the clouds. Next I know, I'm awash in daylight. A wire brush beats against a metal grill at my mother's. Meat shrinks in the heat. We roast on the 5th because independence came late for us. But it did come. So we do feast. And we do burn.
All right, we're going to bring back up to the mic Victoria Massey. Yes.
So one of the things that constantly needs to be discussed is that when we have situations like Ferguson, when our babies are killed, this is a reproductive rights issue. And so one of the things that I've constantly had to deal with in these different moments, Ferguson and those before it, is how I think about myself as a woman, as a Black woman. So this is a 2-part poem called My Woman. The first part is Without America. I am a woman, womb hung in skin bronze below the sun, above cotton roof, picking the purity out of the possibility of freedom. My fingers are thick, tipped century calluses, sewing the hemline between the nightmare-draped dream, naming itself against me in blasphemy, America. Sold me for $50 worth of stars, glowing at a rider when the day's moments become more midnight in the deep cuts, dividing me up to scraps. Lashed down at least 13 times simultaneously, the white meat marinated in my own blood, shedding the light for this nation's insatiable failed attempts at narcissism. It can't love itself without me. I love loving myself without it. That's why the soil's always anxious, quaking nervously, calling me back down to my knees, torso face down to dust, prostrated in the dignification of threatening everyone's life without protecting my own, without being denied my right to protection. They say I'm something worth fearing, strong enough to slap the face of God, but my father never did anything to me, and Uncle Sam ain't family. He's just a bastard slicking lies, trying to empty everyone of a home he's too afraid to make in the hollow belly of the beast of himself. Part 2. This is My Woman Ain't My Home. I-95 raised for me. My woman don't need permanent somewhere. Let's go anywhere, soul. I wish the man stopped, pause, rent jump out of me. I cross coasts. Hopscotch settlers, slavery. They mourn me at castles. God confined the church. Built over Black mama's moans. Bellies were emptied at home. The other side of feminism. My seed can't be killed by me. Take me there. into my execution of home. Damnation be damned, Jesus left heaven, but won't strong enough for hell. Me, my woman's fine. Purgatory, this body don't need believers, no sanctuary praise. It's possible, but I ain't grateful for it. Fuck your ego, or else I might give to you Harriet's ultimatum, turn back, suicide. On the way to you, out of yourself, in motion, this home built breaking. The woman knows me, about to unfold, Lady Justice, break her tears, wait, hold. The jury's up and arrogant, this bitch claims hers at price my future, but bills gonna be late. No more renting my woman, paid with your own life.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Victoria.
Yes. All right, so we're going to bring up this next artist. We're going to actually bring him back. Y'all give it up for Tim Toaster.
Oh.
New shortness or old longness?
New shortness. New shortness. And old long.
I just wanted somebody to say old longness, that's all.
Back to back.
I mean, I'll do it. Come get me up off this microphone. Dear BART train attendant person, worker. Somewhere on YouTube, there is a man trying to figure out how to put his head back together. That man can't for the life of him figure out how to keep his blood from leaking from the slur his face has become. There are 2 police officers waiting for him to crawl his way home. They know there is only so much time this man will have to drown in his own red wine. They know how long to wait before they contact an ambulance. They know that when the ambulance gets there, the victim will have nothing to say. The newspapers said the police shot him down in broad daylight, in front of children, in the busiest part of my neighborhood, because he had no train ticket. It's been a year since I watched him die on YouTube with 2 of my students, watching with wide eyes, as if preparing for something. Dear BART train attendant person, officer worker, thank you. I don't know if I would have made the crawl home otherwise.
All right. Y'all give it up again for Toaster. Bring up another artist who is doing amazing things in the community and across the U.S. right now and other places far and beyond. This woman is just totally amazing. So I want you all to just give it up for Sonia Renee.
Yeah!
Is not an apology.
Yes!
I just want people to know that I know you, that's all.
What's up, y'all? How's everybody today? I'm really glad I got the chance to be here today. I'm so big, my friend Maureen reminds me, I'm so Bay Area that I come dressed like to go hiking. I'm like, oh, let me go to this poetry reading, and I'll go hike. So I'm glad I was able to do that. I haven't written anything in such a long time, and it actually breaks my heart that I feel like this piece that I'm going to do is like it's a new poem every time I have to add a new name to it. And it breaks my heart, and I'm so grateful that there are so many people out in the world who continue to do this work. And hopefully what it is that our spirit of resistance is what will make this reality a different reality in the future. And so thank all of you for the work that you keep doing.
Thank you.
This piece is a persona poem written in the voice of the shotgun that killed 13-year-old Darius Simmons. Darius Simmons was murdered by his neighbor who accused him of stealing a television, which he did not. And essentially when Darius went outside to take the trash out, the neighbor walked up and shot him point blank with a shotgun in his chest and killed him on the sidewalk with his mother standing on the porch watching. And for me, beyond just the horror of those incidents is the continued narrative that oftentimes the media and even ourselves very unsuspectingly sort of picks up. The first thing that you hear about after we gun down another black person in the streets is, like what type of grades they had in school, right? Like whether or not they've been suspended or if they have weed on them, right? So when you read these things that say like, well, by all accounts, they were a good kid, the narrative underneath that is, because if they were not, then we probably should have killed them. Right? And what it really means is that there's constantly a request for black people to improve their right to be alive. Right? That every day we have to justify our existence here. Because otherwise, if you stole some Swisher Sweets, you should be executed. If you had weed in your book bag, you should be executed. If you've been suspended last week, the penalty for that, if you're a black child, is a death sentence. And so we need to remember that, even when we find ourselves saying,
Hey, it's me again. We lost Oakland again, and we are going to get them back again. So I am here again to tell you that we are not going anywhere. We still have poets from Missouri who will be up shortly. They're doing a sound check right now, so we'll have them up in a few. But right now, I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who's watched, everyone who's supported, everyone who shared the links, plural, there are several. And we just wanted to say thank you for that. So a couple of things. Somebody asked earlier where Poets for Ferguson came from. And Poets for Ferguson came from me wanting to be in Ferguson, Missouri, and not knowing how to ask the people around me to come and put themselves in danger. And so I thought about what I should do about that. If I can't be a protester, how can I be in service to the protesters? And I, was reading about protesters being arrested, for all kinds of things that didn't make any sense, that were obviously, deterrents to keep them from fighting, from, speaking out against the police, and, to keep them from resisting. But frankly, I'm tired of that. And I think we all are tired of being quiet, being made to keep quiet, and being forced to be quiet, and having tactics, enacted upon us to keep us silent in some capacity. And so I wanted to create a space where poets, specifically of color, had a space to be the only voice for 24 hours with no interruption. And I wasn't sure how I wanted to do that. And over time, I thought about 24-hour poetry reading, and then how do you make that poetry reading matter? And I thought engaging poets of color specifically, but also what can they do? What can it be attached to? And so that's where the fund actually came in. The fund, like I said, to prevent protesters from being mired in legal fees that keeps them from being out in the street and protesting and resisting and having a voice. And so I planned this for a month, and it's come together, and I'm so overwhelmed with the success of it. We had an event in New Orleans that was not live streamed last night, and I was pleased and shocked and humbled and overwhelmed to find out that that particular event collected $1,800 just in donations alone. And I'm floored by that, and I still don't really understand it, and I'm so overcome with gratitude to everyone who has supported this project, because I didn't know that it was going to be so important to so many people. And I just want to say thank you to every poet who signed up to read and who was able to read, even to those who signed up to read and weren't able to read because we had different time slot issues. I want to say thank you to you, because you made this happen. And I just wanted to create this space, and I'm so glad that I'm just so glad that, sorry, I am glad that I was able to have all of you that we've had in the live stream so far. I'm glad that you were able to share. I'm glad that you were able to have a voice. And I'm glad that you were able to be the only voice to be thrust in the center of the conversation that is always, that others would like to have us removed from. And I'm grateful, and I'm so glad that so many people have reached out and told me how empowered they feel, how inspired they feel. And that's what I want. I want you guys to feel not only empowered by this, but also to feel like there's a way to make a difference. And even if it's your poem, I read an article about Nina Simone when she learned about the 4 little girls who died in the church explosion in Birmingham. And she immediately wrote a poem about it, but initially she'd gone into her then husband's garage and tried to make a handmade gun, and her husband came and said, you don't know anything about guns. You need to use your weapon, and your music is your weapon. And so to all the poets, I know that a poem doesn't resurrect a dead body, but your words are your weapon. You're not a threat if you don't have speech. You're not a threat if you're not speaking out. And so I'm so glad that we all spoke out today, this morning, yesterday evening, this afternoon. It feels like we were all a part of one continuous voice, and I'm so happy that we all were able to come together and to do this thing and to stand together in this way. It just feels very powerful. I'm still very overwhelmed, and just so humbled by the outreach of support that this particular project has had over the last few weeks, over the last few months. I have to say thank you to Tatiana Brown and Manoj Dayaram. They've been great helps to me in organizing this, and I could not have done it without the two of them. And I also most certainly couldn't have done it without all of you who have watched, who have supported, who have watched from your cell phones and your iPads, who've shared the link on Tumblr. If you're watching this on Tumblr right now, oh my God, I can't believe how many people are watching this on Tumblr right this instant. I'm really floored by that. All the people who've donated, we've had several donators. I think right now, the last time I checked the GoFundMe, we were at, oh goodness, $1,250. I could have made that number up, but that's what I think I remember seeing, plus the money from the New Orleans event. I'm just so happy with the way that this has turned out. And if you have missed any of this, all you need to do is to Google Poets for Ferguson and check under videos, Google it under videos, and each video should be stacked right on top of the other. So if you missed anything between right now and yesterday when it started, everything should be available to you. We'll also have a new video coming up in a little while with our poets in Missouri. I'm really excited about that. The lead organizer for that is a beautiful, amazing, brilliant talent. Her name is Jackie Germain. She's put in a lot of work for this particular event that you're going to see in a little while. And I'm so happy that she was able to bring in some of these poets, some of whom are from Ferguson. They'll be joining us in a little while, so make sure you're still watching. And we will keep you guys posted. We will have you guys a new link shortly, and if you want to watch, all you have to do, if you're watching on Tumblr, poetsforferguson.tumblr.com. If you're watching there, just stay tuned. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can visit my page, Sasha Banks, search me on Facebook, and you'll be able to find my the event page for Poets for Ferguson. And we are going to update you with a new link, and that'll be the final link, and they're going to close out the show. But I'm really excited. Again, if you've got a Twitter or a Facebook page or a WordPress or a Tumblr or whatever you have, whatever your platform is, it would make us so happy if you could continue to spread the word about Poets for Ferguson. Tell people to donate. We need that money. If you don't know, that money will be put into the legal defense fund that is being organized and managed by the MORE organization. The MORE organization is an organization that is on the ground in Ferguson, Missouri right now. MORE stands for Missourians Organizing for Reform and Empowerment. And they will get all of the money that we're collecting between now and October 27th, which will be the end of our funding period. So there's still time. If you're not able to give today, you can give. You still have time to give. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. If you also, just to note, if you are not if you're not going to give to GoFundMe for different reasons, there are a lot of people who don't agree with how they handled the Darren Wilson campaign that was on that same GoFundMe platform. The alternative is to Google Missourians Organizing for Reform and Empowerment and to donate directly into their legal defense fund. So that's an alternate way to do that. So tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your mom, tell your cousin that we are taking donations between now and October 27th. So if you're interested in donating and just aren't able to do that today, I just want you to know that you still have time. I'm going to pop in really quick and check with Manoj and some of our tech people and see how we're doing. It looks like Oakland will be rejoining us in just a few minutes. And we're going to hear a few more poets in Oakland. And as soon as they wrap up in Oakland, we'll get to the last bit of this 24-hour live stream. It's been a crazy, crazy ride. I've had 1 hour of sleep exactly, and I'm so happy that we did it, and it wouldn't have been anything or as successful as it has been without the help of the poetry community and poetry lover community and just people who generally support activism and the people who are putting their lives on the line to protest violence, to protest brutality, to protest a tradition of the destruction of the brown body. And I'm so happy to be able to have created this space for such brilliant poets to come and to share their hearts all across the country. And I keep saying thank you because I'm really grateful, and you have to know that it means so much to me. If you're watching right now, thank you for bearing with us. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're getting those back on the road. We should have Oakland with us and streaming again soon. I think we've got a few more poets, so shout out to Kinfolks, who is the lead organizer there, and Tatiana Brown, who is also helping to organize that particular event out there right now. Sonia Renee Taylor, who is a brilliant poet and the main visionary behind the Body Is Not an Apology. She was in the middle of some poems, so maybe we can catch up with her. Looks like they're back up.
Okay, excellent. We're going live. So
we'll put them live right now.
Have everyone take a seat here on the steps. We're live in Oakland, California, where a group of some amazing Bay Area artists, many of them nationally and internationally known, are gathering here in Oscar Grant Plaza. We felt that it was really important to heed Spirit, and Spirit said, move, and move to this space. So we would like to continue with the next artist up, who is Dazier Rustin Grego. And I believe that we have about 20 minutes, so we're just going to flow through artivists from this point outward. How are we looking on that end, Sasha, with the light? Okay, Dazier.
Hey, Ken?
I think that we should sit right here. Yes, dear?
Looks like Missouri is ready to go.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys, so stay tuned for Missouri. We have the next lineup, the last lineup coming up right now. I'm going to log off, and you're going to go to poetsforferguson.tumblr.com and stay tuned for the poets in Missouri. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. Thanks for staying tuned, and thanks. I'm so grateful. Thanks, guys.